turn and kick from separation of left foot. Right foot to the corner as we kick with the top of the foot, 45 degrees from the right foot. Kicking, whether it's the top of the foot or kicking with the heel, kicking action drives the arms apart. From separation of left foot, hips are to the corner with the right foot as we kick to the wall. Hang from the strings at the shoulders, nice big spacious shape. We sit a little bit into the hip to pick up the leg, keeping that expansive shape. Watch the tendency to pull in and tighten, flowing out, extending out, emanating outward, even as we pick up the leg. So hanging from the string, nice expansive feeling, nice big shape. Sit to raise the knee, lower leg goes out, driving the arms apart. The knee is not quite straight at the end of any kick, whether it's a heel kick or flat kick. You save the last half an inch or so don't lock your knee straight. Sitting raises the knee, kicking drives the arms out. Again, for almost all the kicks, this front hand, front arms directly over the femur. Back arm is right out from the side. It's not back, pulling back, right out from the torso, from the shoulder. Elbows pointing towards the ground. Sit to raise the knee. Kicking out drives the arms. Dropping the heel initiates the turn and the weight shift. Dropping the left heel brings the weight back and begins the turn. Turning on the right heel continues the turn, shifting into the right hip. Peeling off the left foot, turning on the ball of the left foot for balance. When you're ready, sit into the right hip to pick up the knee. And now the toes are pulled back for a heel kick. Same positioning with the arms. Notice if there's any leaning back, any countering that front leg by leaning back, and maintain a nice vertical posture, hanging from the string. The weight drops right down through the hip. If I'm leaning back at all, my weight is up here, upper body, and the weight is dropping somewhere back here. I want the weight to sink straight down my shape, straight down my skeletal structure, right through the hip, through the leg, into the ground. So, sitting helps avoid that leaning back and makes you more stable. So as I sit and kick out, and still being vertical. Okay. Sit to raise the knee, kick out drives the arms. Arms continue flowing outward away from each other as you step back. So there's no point where the arms are stationary. Indeed, there's no point where any part of the body is truly stationary. So after you kick out and the arms spread out, as you're stepping back, the stepping back action continues to drive the elbows away from each other, arms expanding away from each other. I say the elbows expanding away from each other to avoid the temptation to flare the elbows out. If we just think of the arms or hands expanding away from each other, you may have this flaring of the elbows and raising the shoulders and tightening the muscles. So elbows stay pointed to the ground. If you imagine the elbows sliding away from each other, that will keep the shoulders down and the elbows pointing towards the ground rather than flaring. So as we step back, the arms that are already out there continue flowing in their respective directions, so you can feel as if the elbows are sliding away from each other to keep that shape. Take a moment to relax, hang out, expand, release the abdomen, sit a little bit to raise the knee, sending the lower leg out, drives the arms out. As I step back, the arms continue to flow in their respective directions, and they change the direction as I drop that heel, which turns the hip and shifts the weight. Kicking drives the arms out. Take a moment, the checklist, breathe, release, relax, align, sit, expand out, continue expanding out as you step back. Dropping that heel initiates the turn and the weight shift. That brings the right arm, turning of the right foot brings the right hand inside, shifting back. Even here, there should be a sense of continuing expansiveness, continuing expansion. Relax down, relaxing outwardly, rather than holding tight, holding on the spot, and holding the shape here in an isolated, rigid manner. There's always a flowing, expansive feeling. Expanding, opening the back. So even as I raise that knee, in fact, we're sitting to raise the knee causes that expansion. Sitting raises the knee, and that causes the expansion. So if I illustrate that a little bit, opening up, rounding the back, opening the shoulder joints, opening the elbow joints. It's very subtle physically. There's not much traveling in terms of millimeters at all, but that's the direction of the energy, direction of the flow. It's always expansive and outward. Kicking, opening and expanding, continuing to expand as you step back, turning, shifting back, expanding, sitting, kicking, opening. Opening the arm shape, expanding, extending. Sitting to that hip. Rather than standing up, those tend to also be a leaning back. You're sitting into that back hip. Expand out from there. Sitting into left hip, sitting into the right hip. Sit, raising the knee,